Hey everybody, this is Jeremiah with Drive to Repair. This was a dishwasher. It was not draining, it was a warranty call. And so we came out and found the tub full of water. It would not do anything. You can see over to the left there, there's kind of a little mushroom thing. That is the float switch, and that was triggered. And so on this particular style, it just won't let anything happen if that's engaged. So what we're going to have to do here is get all of this water out. That will allow us to engage that or disengage that float switch again so that we can then see if the pump is getting power or what the failure is. Why is it filling with too much water? So underneath here, you'll see in just a second, we're going to look and just observe. You can tell a lot just by looking underneath. So we can see there is not any leakage under here. You can look at the dust pattern and you'll have water stains and watermarks if there is a leak underneath. There is no leak underneath, and so it was pretty obvious from the full tub, but the water was leaking over the lip at the front, and so that's how the water had gotten onto the floor. Right back here is the pump. That's your drain pump. And I was just checking the wiring just to make sure that it was nice and tight. There were a few little mouse droppings under there. You always have to be aware of that. They will chew through wires and that'll disrupt the power, and that can cause a circuit not to work. But on this, we didn't see anything like that happening. So we're going to pull this guy out, get a little bit better access to that pump, and the intention here is so that I can get some probes into it and see if we're getting a full 120 volts to it. Now I say intention because as soon as I tried to work it at this point, I started leaking a lot of water out. And so I had to immediately work on draining that tub because when I pulled it out, it was tilting forward just a little bit. So this is where the drain connects to the garbage disposal. So we're going to take that off, and I'm going to put a transfer pump in that, and we're going to drain out the water if it will. If it does drain out, we'll know that we do not have a clog. Sometimes you can get clogs. This right here is the #1 spot for clogs. We have a partial clog, and we'll clear that out, but that's not enough to cause this dishwasher to have the symptom that it has. So here's kind of the little modified hose setup. I took a washer hose, cut off the end of it, and then that allows us to get into these dishwasher drain lines without even having to hold it. It just fits nice and snug in there. So we'll turn on the transfer pump, and you'll see that we're getting a lot of water coming out. So we don't have a clog in that drain system, which is good. And so now we have gotten it all drained out. And it's always good to put a towel underneath the counter because you'll get some drips and different things. Now look at this mess. This was absolutely filthy. And when you drain the water out, you can see how much is in there. Now I had talked to this customer. They don't use dishwashers that often, and you can see they should have rinsed all this stuff off their dishes before putting it in there. So there was tons of material that pump was going to have trouble processing and getting out with the water. And so what I'm doing now that we've got the float switch to disengage, I'm testing the components. And so I filled it, and we're testing, does the circulation pump work? The circulation pump is your main water pump, and so you can see the arm turning there at the bottom, so we're getting pressure there. That part is working. Now we're draining it, and this is the key symptom we're trying to see what was the cause of a no drain issue. So it drains now, which means that when I hooked up to that transfer pump to the pump, it helped dislodge some of that filthy debris that you saw in there. And so now that impeller on the pump is able to turn again. So we're going to take this guy apart and clean out everything. we found tons of debris in here. Here's one piece. This was like a rolled up little piece of almost cardboard type substance. If you get stuff like that in your pump, it will destroy it. It will lock it up. It'll burn it out. It'll give you all sorts of trouble. So there's even a penny in here, you'll see. And so these little catches that help filter out material before it goes into the pump are really helpful, but they're not 100%. You need to clean those out every now and then. So if all we had done is walk away at this point because it's draining again, they're going to give us a call back later on because some of this material is going to work its way down to the pump. So we took a shop vac down in there, cleaned it all out, ran it a few more times just to make sure that there wasn't other debris that might lock that pump up, and everything worked beautifully. So I showed this to the customer, explained everything to them, just so that they would know how to prevent this in the future. And so they were good to go.